I was driving home one night after dropping my friends off at home. We stayed out late, and it took me an hour at least to drop both of them off. By the time I got in my neighborhood, I noticed a blacked out car following me. I still had 5 minutes till I got home, and it was pitch dark out. I really thought nothing of it, until he kept following me till I got near my home. I have never seen this car before, so I stopped on the side to see if he would pass. He did at the end, but stopped maybe 20 feet in front of me. In this moment, I was more alert than worried. I had my gun with me in case of anything. He turned right onto the street I was going on and stopped completely. Where I live, all the streets are almost pitch black. There was probably one light for the entire street and it was very dim. I stopped behind him again in case maybe I just knew him. I waited for a good 20 seconds and proceeded in front of him. When I did, he started to honk and follow me again. I was already on the street by my home, so I decided to go around a few times. When I did, he started to honk and follow me again. I was already on the street by my home, so I decided to go around a few times. I didn't want him to know where I live, if he already didn't. After a while, he decided he had enough and left, so I proceeded home. After making it home, I decided to park my car further down my driveway, just in case. I got inside and saw my dog was waiting for me. I was glad to see him. I decided to go to bed, considering I was gone all day and was tired. I had work in the morning, so I fell asleep almost right away. I woke up in the middle of the night, my room all dark. I noticed my door was cracked open, which concerned me because I always kept it shut. I looked around my room and heard a slight laugh in my hallway. Looking back to the door, I noticed a pair of yellow eyes staring at me, which proceeded to say, "He's coming." I jolted out of my sleep, realizing it was just a dream, but I had noticed my window was open and proceeded to hear my closet door creak open. I remember mostly all of the dreams I've had since the age of 2 to 3. None of them were great. In fact, they were always repetitive. Same scenario, same beginnings, same terrifying ending. Around the year of 2007, I used to live in a suburban 2-story home. The layout was very unique. I lived with my 2 brothers, my mother and my father at the time. Of course, at the age of only a couple of months old, I had a set bedtime. So just like clockwork, one of my parents would set me to bed and lights would be shut off. Quiet and alone, I would just stare at the ceiling for minutes at a time, waiting for my eyelids to eventually shut close. The dreams would always be set in my house. The lighting in every room was dim, cold, and completely silent, as if no one was living there with me, or as if I was abandoned. My energy always felt so low, as if I was still tired, even though I was aware of myself sleeping. I knew I was asleep. In the dreams, my eyelids would just open abruptly. I would be in a random part of my home, but this time, it was my downstairs living room. There was old crusted furniture in random places of this room, not like the ones I've seen in my home before, but knowing how the dreams go, I knew I had to go over there to check it out. Time would go by so slow until I heard this soft toned music playing out in the other room of the house. The music was almost identical to a record of Baby's Lullaby. When it starts, I can faintly hear his crunchy limbs begin to turn in corners of my house. That's when I know to either run or hide. Since my energy was extremely low, running wasn't the easiest option. I tried my best to make it to the couch to hide behind it. That was until I felt it. When he comes around, I feel a tickling sensation start from the crown of my head, moving all the way down to my spine. Such petrifying feeling to experience while in this situation, alone with slow movement, still cold air flowing throughout my house, and afraid, each and every time with being aware to what will happen next. I felt it. The feeling almost made me paralyzed, as if I couldn't move at all, as if someone was pulling me further and further away from my body. As soon as I felt extremely far from my reality, I would get this release and shake myself out of my sleep. I would be scared to fall back asleep, even to look around my room after my sudden escape. Every night I would have these nightmares. The energy of that entity in those dreams was masculine. I never saw him, but I just knew. I knew his name, but he's never told me. I knew this man, everything about him, from his looks to his voice, to the sounds he would make coming down the thin walls of my home trying to get me. When I got to a proper age of speaking, I would consistently bring up how this was happening. Although my parents did not believe me, I don't blame them now, for I was extremely young. It was just your imaginations, they always told me. I remember one day in the same downstairs living room, my brothers were searching through channels to watch something new. I was sitting in the middle of our L-shaped couch and both of my brothers were standing in front of me. A preview of the Boogeyman 2 2007 movie came on, but at the time I wasn't paying attention to the TV. But when I heard that the name was Boogeyman come out from my brother's mouth, I got nightmares. I couldn't believe what he just said. I asked him, "What did you say?" He replied with what? I said what was his name again. He said Boogeyman. That was it. The thing that had been chasing me, torturing me non-stop, leaving me with this sensational trauma. That was the name. You know him? He followed up with his question. It's a movie, he said, as he looked at me, as if I was just off the walls crazy. The dreams would eventually stop as I grew older and experienced new things. But I knew I wasn't crazy because this happened in 2007. It's 2023 and I still sometimes get that tickling sensation, starting from the crown of my head, moving down to my spine and my dreams, even my good ones. I don't know if he'll ever come back, but now I don't bother waiting to find out. Till this day I've never seen the Boogeyman movies, and I don't plan on ever watching any of them.